happy to have you here. I am here to welcome you to our event this evening, which is Women in Tech. My name is Daisy. I'm one of your co-hosts today, and I'm also joined by my colleagues Dana and Angie, along with several other SNHU staff in the chat. Please feel free, like we said, to share your name, location, your major, and your LinkedIn or Handshake profile in the chat to network with your other students. Just so you know, this session is being recorded and it will be available on the SNHU Career YouTube channel after the session is over. SNHU is dedicated to inclusive meeting experiences. If you would like to enable live captions, all you have to do is select the three dots at the top of the Microsoft Teams window to expand the More menu, and then you can click Language and Speech from the dropdown, and then Show Live Captions. Captions will then show on your screen as the presenters are all speaking. We're also presenting using PowerPoint Live, which means you can click any of the links that are in the actual presentation while the presentation is ongoing. PowerPoint Live provides some additional accessibility options as well. You can select the three dots at the bottom of the presentation slides, and you'll actually open up a magnify slide option. You can click on the minus sign to zoom out or the plus sign to zoom in. And you can also find a toggle button to view slides in high contrast, or the option to translate the slide text information into a preferred language. These features are only going to impact your experience in your screen and not the overall presentation. So don't worry about that, and please feel free to customize the experience as needed. Individuals with accessibility needs requiring accommodations can reach out to, online students can reach out to OAC at snhu.edu or call 866-305-9430. There's also, for campus students, you can email cac@snhu.edu or you can call 603-644-3118. If you are SNHU staff or faculty, you can click on the link for the employee ADA accommodations or you can scan the QR code. Requests for communication access real-time translation or CART or live ASL interpreting requires at least 3 weeks of advance notice. I also want to take a minute to plug SNHU Career Services. This is where Dana, Angie, and myself work, and the office in general is here to empower you to take ownership of your career journey and to help you along the way. As an SNHU student or graduate, it's an included lifetime benefit to connect with the SNHU Career Services team, and we encourage you to engage with us on social media and take a look at our offered resources. If you have any questions about your resume, Handshake, or anything related to your career, you can connect with an SNHU career advisor by emailing cocecareer@snhu.edu or by calling 188-672-1458.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Daisy. And again, as she mentioned, I'm Dana McGrath. I'm an employer relations partner with Southern New Hampshire University Career Services. And we are co-leading this presentation today with 4 absolutely fabulous panelists who are part of the SNHU network as well, who I'll introduce in just a moment. And we'll have our introductions of each panelist. We'll go over a few prepared questions, and we will then open up for attendee Q&A. You'll notice that cameras and mics have been turned off, so please feel free to submit any questions in the chat throughout the session. And our chat moderator, Angie Woods, will be collecting those, and we will address them to the panelists, as many as we can. We may not get to all of them, but we'll do our best for you all. And to get started, I have Taryn Ordeman, who is a data engineer 3 with Verizon Corporate. So Taryn, if you want to say hello, say a little bit about yourself. And I do have a starter question for you too while your slide is up. So if you could share a moment in your tech career that shattered any assumptions you may have had about the industry, your role, or even yourself.
So hello all, I'm Taryn Ordeman and I'm a data engineer 3 at Verizon Corporate, and have had many different positions over my 13-year career. I mostly deal with data behind the scenes that is used to formulate information to the company in reports to make sure that the company stays on its business goals. I create and maintain ETL jobs, which are extract, transform, and load the data itself, the databases, and data warehouses. A moment in my tech career that shattered my assumptions in honestly all 3, industry, role, and myself, was how easy it is to second guess and lose confidence in yourself. It is an ongoing issue that I deal with. people do not believe that I could possess the amount of knowledge I have gained in my career. I always do a lot of research and I ask a lot of questions to make sure I learn as much as I can. A very recent example of this is when I was asked about how far a specific section of data went back. I answered that the data only went back to last year, and they didn't think that that was right. So I assumed I was looking at the wrong section of data. I reviewed another section and it went back to 2022. When updating the ETL job, we noticed that we were not getting the data from 2022, and it was because the actual data that was needed was what I originally mentioned. I was correct the first time, and now the project is actually running a little late because I was second guessed and I second guessed myself. It is a continued lesson that I keep working on. I have been called out in meetings before saying that I couldn't possibly know something because the supervisor didn't even know the answer. Their words, not mine. Spoiler alert, I knew the answer and and I was able to help my team. Now, this doesn't mean that I always know everything and that I could always answer all of the questions out there, but I do possess the skills to do the research when I can and learn so that next time I will have the knowledge that is needed. This continues to force me to build confidence in my work, myself, at my company, and in my career.
That's amazing, Taryn. Thank you so much for sharing that specific scenario with us too, because it is, there's certainly something that, anything that can help us overcome that imposter syndrome. So, being confident in ourselves and being able to overcome, but also asking questions when there need to be questions asked. So really appreciate that introduction. Thank you. Awesome. So next I have Tamika Reed, and Tamika is an application support analyst lead with Booz Allen Hamilton. And Tamika, if you want to say hello, maybe say a little bit about yourself as well. And then that same question, a moment in your tech career that shattered any assumptions you may have had about the industry, your role, or even yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamika Reed. As she said, I'm an application support analyst lead at Booz Allen Hamilton. I've been in the IT industry for over 20 years. I've had various roles. And the answer to your question is, early in my career, I believe tech was a man's world and that I had to shrink myself to fit in. For an example, I've had classmates when I first got my degree that said that women are supposed to be nurses and teachers, not in tech. So when I realized that I had the same knowledge and ability as a man, I didn't need to become someone else to succeed. I just needed to own my role. That moment changed everything.
I love that. And again, with that thread of confidence and sometimes having to overcome what might be a bias that, we just grow up thinking, and it's something that absolutely can rise above. So thank you so much for sharing that. And next we have Kathleen Cromwell-Home, who's an information security analyst lead with USAA. Kathleen, if you want to hop on, say hello, maybe a little bit about yourself as well. And same question, that moment in your tech career that shattered assumptions you may have had about the industry, your role, or even yourself.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Good evening. So I am currently a lead over at USAA for information security analyst within the enterprise data management team. Started out my career maybe 12 years ago, honestly, so still a little fresh, and originally started out as a database administrator. So been with SNHU through my associate's, bachelor's, and MBA. My associate's bachelor's degree was with information technology and a concentration in database management and design. MBA was in project management, and my career has been moving more and more towards project management or even program management, where I am typically used today, where I'm overseeing a lot of the duties and the work that is done with various teams in our area, and facilitating those teams to kind of bridge that gap and be that connective tissue between our stakeholders. For a shattering moment in my career, that broke kind of the mold of my assumptions walking into it. When I started out my career, I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and was essentially really excited to get my hands dirty with new technology. I was so stoked. And the thing that shattered it for me was it didn't matter what job I went to or what role I started going into. There was always these moments either with the processes or the actual technology and the systems where it dawned on me, depending on the impact to the business or to the systems or even the processes or the costs, you're going to come across antiquity. So I thought that that was really interesting along the way. I've come up against DOS programs. I've come up against DB2 mainframes. It's been wild. But all in all, it's just a challenge. It's another challenge to kind of overcome and work around or even implement the next step in maturity for your business. And I've embraced it along the way. And honestly, I think that those are the kinds of opportunities that can make you shine. So, but that's it for me.
That's fantastic, Kathleen. And really, I love when you first started off saying, 12 years in and it's still fresh, but that's just because tech moves so quickly.
It
And,
does.
it's so important to stay updated with what's going on, but also remembering, like you said, those antiquities, you're going to find them, right? So,
Yes, ma'am.
so, kind of how much can you fit in that brain? So I love it. All right, perfect. And next up, I have Lieutenant Ashley Munnelly. Ashley, if you want to come on and say hello, she's a CG Tech 2 Cyber Information Security Officer with the U.S. Coast Guard. So, Ashley, if you want to say hello, maybe share a little bit about yourself, and of course, that same question: a moment in your tech career that shattered any assumptions you may have about the industry, your role, or even yourself.
Sure thing, and thank you. It's so nice to meet everyone and to hear about the amazing women that we have on this panel. Thank you so much to Southern New Hampshire for having me and to be able to read in the chat box the career trajectory that everybody is starting in. It's really, really exciting. So continue on. Well done. For me, I started in the Department of Corrections back in 2005 and worked for 6-7 years respectively. I ended up joining the Coast Guard in 2011, wanted that career change, that opportunity to try something new from DOC to getting into really a different mission and supporting just the United States borders. So from there, started off as a system administrator and a junior enlisted member. Really, Southern New Hampshire was kind of that turning point for me in my career. I had to go back to school and earn a bachelor's in information systems in order to commission and get more into the leadership and management side after several years of being an enlisted member and really living around the country. So it was great to see where folks are living. I can relate to many of those spaces. Once I commissioned, really started doing more project and program management in cybersecurity, auditing new acquisitions that are coming into the Coast Guard, taking a look at innovative technologies, and really briefing flag level leadership. And with all these amazing changes that are happening in technology today, it's really, really exciting to be a part of it. So definitely add me to LinkedIn, and would love to talk to you more about opportunities in the Coast Guard if that's ever something that's of interest to anybody.
Fabulous. Love the call out for the networking, and love that you've had, that pathway throughout the federal government, and really just so many different experiences, and now kind of on the cusp of all the new things that are happening. So I know we have a question about that later on tonight too. So we'll stay tuned. All right, perfect. So just wanted to share this slide and big a virtual round of applause for the 4 wonderful panels we have, and just to summarize all the introductions there. So thank you all so much for answering that. And then another question that I'm going to go ahead and ask Taryn and Tamika to circle back to you both. So either of you can jump in first if you'd like. But have you ever had to redefine your identity in the workplace to succeed? And if so, how did that impact you professionally and personally?
Tamika, did you want to go first or?
Absolutely. Okay. I had to prove that I had the same education and ability and technical skills as everyone else. There were times I was underestimated, so I leaned into the work and delivered results. Redefining myself meant shifting from defending my place to owning it. Personally, it built confidence. Professionally, it opened doors.
Perfect. Thank you, Tamika. And Taryn, same question.
I think my answer is pretty much kind of the same. So I have a pretty big personality. So this kind of tends to cause some people to be turned off sometimes because it's very easy for me to be the loudest in the room, especially in meetings. I tend to get very excited because of the passion I have in my field. So I can get distracted and get lost in that excitement. While I'll never not be true to myself, I know that as a person and as an employee, I need to make sure that things are done as a team effort. I improve myself. I do not redefine my entire identity. I have worked on my active listening skills and my conflict management skills to make sure that I convey myself in the conduct that I need to personally and professionally. Staying true to myself has been a big thing for me. You need to have and gain confidence in yourself. This confidence also means that you need to admit when you need to grow and gain skills to help in your career and or personally.
I love that. I also am definitely a bit of a loud personality from time to time, and I think a lot of my professional career has been learning how to be true to myself, but not overwhelm the room. So I love both of those answers. Thank you. I've got a couple questions as well. So Ashley, I'd like to start with you. And if you could talk about what helps you stay resilient or confident in environments where you might be one of the first or one of the only in the room.
Thanks. I've had a few of those experiences, especially in the last few years. What helps me stay confident? I think there's nothing better than preparation. You know, just getting all the information together and being confident in what you know, what you've experienced, and bringing that forward. So when you're sitting in a C-suite level room or a flag level briefing, in my case, being confident about what your subject matter expertise is, and being able to bring that forward and make a recommended solution. I think that's always really important. And just know that you're not alone in those moments. Having mentors and bouncing things off of industry professionals or colleagues and academia, that's really important. So just something to always keep in mind.
Yeah, I love that. Building up the network to help you build up yourself, because it's kind of rich that the best way to build your confidence is to be confident. So I absolutely appreciate that as a next step. Kathleen, I'd like to ask you the same question. So confidence and resilience in a room or an environment where you are the first or the only, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so you guys used the term earlier, imposter syndrome. I love that term. I've been in moments in my career, one specifically where I took on a role. It was a contract role. We were building out a notional program for a governmental contract for data loss prevention, security, governance, things of that nature. And it was really cool. We had all these dev environments, and I was positioned into the tech team, and it was filled with architects and heavy duty engineers with just years of experience. And I felt like little old me. I got the title of data engineer, and just because of my warehouse background. And I was looking around me, I was the only female on the entire team. And I just felt inadequate and wondered if I really should be there. And then, I kept working, and I just worked my butt off. And it dawned on me after talking with my leadership, and I was bridging gaps between people and the projects and the different technologies and providing all this valuable information to our clients. Someone in leadership saw something in me. And I think that we tend to forget that. You are unique in your role. So a lot of the times what you might not feel like you see, somebody else does. And we really got to give ourselves a little grace and cut ourselves a little slack. Yes, you want to be competitive. Yes, you want to be the best that you can be at your job. And that doesn't really even matter who you are. You want to be the best you can. But when you have moments of doubt, just remember you have something unique to bring to the table. I think that's really important to always remember.
I love those messages, and really, working with all these subject matter experts. And if it's not something you're super familiar with, just kind of have that mentorship and reach out to people that may be more well versed, and you never know where that can lead you. Just asking someone for help, and that could turn into something bigger. So I love that. All right. And then my next question here is for Taryn and Kathleen. So let's see. I think, Taryn, if you want to go first on this one, what does career success mean to you? And has that changed over time?
Career success to me means completing goals. I set short-term and long-term goals for myself in my career on a regular basis. Each time I complete a goal, I get to feel the success in my career. For example, one goal I completed by joining Verizon is to work at a big company that has the same values that I do. With a salary and benefits package that measures my self-worth, Verizon is a great company, and as you all know, is very big. I love the work I do, the company itself, and it is a bonus that I get to say that I work for Verizon every single time a commercial comes on. Verizon also believes in giving back, which is another goal I had for myself professionally and personally. They are so big on volunteering in many different areas. It continues to make me proud to work for them. My next short-term goal is to make my way into middle management, and my long-term career goal is to become a CIO or a CTO, so Chief Information Officer or Chief Technical Officer. As you can see, technically this has changed over time because I create new and different goals based on where I am in life and in my career.
That's fantastic. Celebrating all the milestones along the way, map that journey and just make it happen. That's fantastic, Taryn. And Kathleen, if you want to jump in as well, what does career success mean to you? Has that changed over time?
Yeah, I'm going to echo that milestone comment. So I try to always have something that I'm working towards, whether it's me working on a certification, working on a new degree, working on a new title, a new project, anything. You should always have something you're working towards. It kind of just, fuels your fire, I think. For me, I've been moving a little bit more towards the business and a little bit less from or away from the technical aspect. It seems that it's almost a necessary evil. And at first I was really resistant because I wanted to be engaged with I wanted to be, elbows deep into all the technology, more or less. But there's a need. And a lot of the times, if there's a need, I will jump onto those projects. So with my MBA, I've been moving more and more towards project management, which is overseeing a lot of our technical efforts. You need to still be very aware of what those efforts will be. You need to know, we have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline in the industry in general. Zero trust architecture, that's hugely impactful to businesses, for instance. So you got to be situationally aware of what's coming down the pipeline. So for me, it's not only being aware and keeping up to date with everything, but it's also moving more and more towards portfolio management, probably middle management at some point, or even a director role. At my current company, there's only so far you can get before you're like, okay, I don't know if I think that there's moments where I think I might not want to go much higher, but I think that having those milestones or those goalposts that you're trying to continuously work towards is very important. And for me, it's getting closer and closer, not only to my stakeholders, but still being very much engaged with the teams and the technology that we're embracing and moving towards. So that's it for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And really, I hear that from employers all the time, just that blend of business skills and tech skills and, being able to translate that to the customer or client or whoever, those are key kind of married skills. And also, with this question too, how do you prove you're making progress if you don't have any benchmarks that you're trying to meet? So I think both of you, great answers on having those goals in the first place. So perfect. And let's see, Daisy, I think our next question is yours.
Absolutely. So, Tamika, I would like to direct this question to you first. And if you could please answer, what trends or changes in tech are you most excited about or are you most cautious about?
Thank you. I'm excited about all things AI, machine learning, and generative AI. These tools are transforming how we work, especially in automation and data analysis. But I'm cautious too. Without the right oversight, AI can cause more harm than help. I believe tech should always enhance people, not replace them.
I would take that answer on a t-shirt. I'm so excited and so concerned at the same time. So I'm fully with you there. I think it's a great answer. Ashley, I would also ask you the same question. So what trends in tech are you excited about and or are you cautious about?
I think I have to echo the AI. I was reading about the Executive Order 14179, which talks about removing barriers to American leadership in artificial intelligence and fostering innovation. So I know personally working on drone projects and RMF automation projects. Those are kind of hot ticket items for us right now to really kind of make life ideally more efficient, better, and safer for my shipmates at sea as they're carrying out the mission both nationally and internationally. Those are things that are important to us, but equally as concerned, I think as many in a field that you're kind of getting into unknown risks. There's a lot of considerations. And again, this is where we can't take these things on alone. It's got to be a collaborative effort with many different agencies. So exciting times, but also cautious ones in that sense.
I guess that's the thing about tech too. Like it just moves so fast. So every day it's completely brand new. Because I'm over here thinking we've never had a tech environment like this, but we've never had a tech environment like how we had yesterday. So I think that's I think you guys were alluding to that in a way too. Thank you.
For sure, kind of, if it's coming, it's coming, and being prepared with the skills and knowledge to use it to its best ability. So love that. All right, and then this final question, as far as the prepared questions, then we're going to jump into our attendee Q&A, which I'm super excited. I see Angie has quite a collection in our little side chat here for questions. So anyone can answer this if anyone wants to jump in first, but what impact do you hope to have or leave on the tech industry? That's a loaded question, but anyone want to jump in?
I can answer this one. I want everyone, especially women and career changers, to see that you can lead, thrive, and innovate in tech without fitting a mold. If someone says, because of her, I believed I could, then I've done my part.
I absolutely love that. That's amazing. Thank you, Tamika. And then I think, Taryn, did you came off mute, or was that you, Kathleen?
I think I came off mute.
Perfect.
Sorry. So the impact that I hope that I get to leave on the tech industry is my story and the understanding that you can do this too. While I secretly hope to leave some sort of cool module that I built, or a goddess formula I created, or a new standard practice, I think the biggest impact is having more people in the field itself. I did not know what I wanted to do after high school, and I haphazardly fell into my career. After finding my niche, I got certified and worked on my degree so I could feel like I belong on society's standard. I did not do this in the traditional pathway, but I accomplished it, and now I have an awesome, important career at a big company. I hope my story will inspire others, not just in a technical career, but in finding their niche as well.
Perfect. I'm sure you've already inspired people sitting in the chat here at the event, Taryn. So keep up the amazing work. And then Kathleen, I think, did I see you come off mute as well, or?
You did, but I'm going to
Okay.
be echoing a lot of what Taryn and Tamika have already said, where, I've been a little niched, and that actually really did advance my career as well. I think that if you find an opportunity like that, even if it's a side project and you're excited about it, consider that being a niche. And then with helping other people grow around you. As you move through your career, no matter what your title is, you will eventually become either a SME or a leader of some kind. You might not be a people leader, but you're an effort leader or a technology leader, and the people around you really look up to you and look to you for your guidance. So I think that when we focus on, helping the people around us grow, it ultimately helps even you succeed, and it helps the business succeed. It just helps everybody. And how great is it to be eventually in those roles where you can help the people around you cut their teeth on brand new technology or really exciting opportunities and growth within their own careers, and kind of look back and see how you see yourself in them at times. So I think that that's really important. And that's basically what I was going to say. So I'm echoing everybody else, but
Hey, we
so
love it. Love they just iteration of, that's because that rising tide, it lifts all boats, right? So helping other people lift them up, and it lifts us all up in the end. So Ashley, I'll give you an opportunity if you want to chime in, or just, say ditto or whatever you'd like.
No, absolutely. I appreciate it. I mean, I guess I would say, you've got this. Like, I saw a lot of people in the chat mentioning that they're either changing careers or coming back from being a stay-at-home parent or something. And those are all very noble moves. And having pivoted a few times in my own career, you can do it. And the industry desperately needs you. They need your skill set. This is why you're learning and growing and studying what you are, and just jump right in and kind of embrace it. We're waiting for you.
Fabulous. So that's all from me and Daisy as far as the prepared questions. So again, virtual round of applause on this end for such fantastic answers, and really appreciate your participation. So I want to go ahead and pass it over to Daisy, because we have some great questions, and I think it's time to get those heard.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and actually open this up to anybody who wants to jump in, just because I think that we've touched on this quite a bit. I think this is a great question. So the question is, when you're trying to break into the tech field, would you in general suggest specializing or focusing on becoming like a tech jack of all trades when it comes to this sector, this industry? Anyone can
I
go.
think probably everybody's thinking the same thing I am. That's a little bit hard of a question.
Yeah.
So in my career, I did become a tech person of all trades. So I actually have hardware, software, data analytics, speaking with, C-level leadership, project management, all kind of different areas. So I think from my perspective, and possibly a little biased, is that it is good to get a well-rounded knowledge in the technical field, just so this way you could always help out with different things. And maybe in that same regard, you get that niche at that point of where, maybe you're a help desk analyst and you're working with primarily hardware, and you decide that, wow, I really like building computers. Or, you're working and you are building out reports that's being used in C-level leadership, and you're like, wow, it's so exciting to be in these meetings. And then that's your niche. So I think that initially getting that well-rounded knowledge and then finding your niche after that, maybe. And then obviously your niche can always change throughout the years too.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, having that base knowledge is probably pretty key. I know I'm always stunned. I have the most elemental knowledge of HTML and CSS, and I'm always amazed at how much that's actually very impressive and useful. And it's nothing. A 5-year-old could do it to my level. So I think it's a great answer. Anyone else have any thoughts? I know we've talked a lot about people have made career pivots. I just want to make sure that everyone has a chance to share their thoughts if they have any.
I'll hop in. It is, and again, echoing a little bit of what was just said, but I came in and I was kind of siloed as a database administrator, and it wasn't until I got onto side projects and got more into analytics that I was able to start branching out and moving more towards some of the interconnecting tissue within the business and those various technologies that were being used with every job that I've had. So I do think that it's important to have a broad approach and kind of keep your options open or your mind open to some of those various technologies. But it does help to be a little niched to start breaking into the job roles because it kind of opens up very specific roles for you, and you can become an expert very quickly at those. So if it's a matter of determining degree concentration or anything of that nature, that does help. I'm not gonna say it doesn't. But later on in your career, you don't want to become too siloed, because then you're just kind of off into a corner, and you might not know what's going on around you within the other departments or the other impacts with the business.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, even with the career pivots, just staying knowledgeable the whole time, so you're not caught by surprise, basically. Love that. We had a question come in that I caught out of the corner of my eye, so I'm jumping the whole gun to bring this question because I love it. Tamika, I'll direct it to you if you don't mind. So someone has asked, how can we tell the difference between a company that supports women in tech on paper versus one that actually talks the talk and walks the walk?
That is a tough one, honestly. I've had interviews where I was judged based off I was a woman. And of course, equality was a thing for them. But I will say this, Booz Allen is definitely a company that empowers women. Um, Actually, I don't know what else to say to that, honestly.
No, you're fine. I mean, just the
Yeah,
fact it's there and it exists, right? So I guess is it
yeah, like it happens, like, and it's hard to know, and it's like ask the right questions when you're in the interview, and you can kind of have that gut feeling, like, okay, this is for me, maybe this is not. But I will say, Booz Allen is definitely, they definitely empower women.
I love that. And I love, yeah, the gut feeling. And Ash, I'm going to put you on the spot because I saw you had a face when I asked the question. Do you have any specific thoughts you'd like to add to that as well?
I mean, in our service, the marching orders are to promote people who are the most capable and most talented. So as you develop those skill sets and that knowledge, by all means, like there's definitely going to be opportunities that are available.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, raise up those around you. I love that. Perfect. Let's see. Okay, going back to the questions in the order that I've gotten them in. Taryn, I'd love to ask you. So there were definitely a lot of questions about transitioning into a new career and skill sets and keeping current and things like that. So do you have any, I guess, general advice on people who are looking to be involved in the industry and stay up to date with the industry as well?
So big things out of that you can do. So as you heard me talk a little bit about these things, I started my career off like at, working at jobs that I was, like administrative assistants in the purchasing department. I worked at a car shop. I worked at a law office, different areas and different things. So very similar. Didn't get my career started until later on in life as well. So you're all not alone. Just want to make sure you put that out there for all of you. The best thing to do is networking, honestly, and showing your self-worth. So remember, like, your confidence is key. It is very hard and it's a learned skill, and it's something that comes out throughout your entire career. It's not going to just come overnight. But in your networking, I go to conferences, multiple different types of conferences for all different types of things. I did ServiceNow Federal Conference a couple of years ago. I did Microsoft, Google, all different areas. Obviously, there's multiple other ones. There's a regular data analytics one that was just in DC a couple of months ago. And you get to meet everybody there. And then I think we've all kind of mentioned on here, and I think some of us already put it in the chat, mentoring is another thing as well. So if you can find yourselves a mentor, I put my LinkedIn inside there. I love mentoring people. I'm actually doing my cousin right now. She just graduated from Utica with her cybersecurity degree. So I would say, between networking is going to be your biggest thing, but between conferences and LinkedIn, they're your best friends.
Conferences and LinkedIn are your best friend. Yeah, that's about, I'd say, 40% of my job descriptions. That's a great call out. Kathleen, this next question's for you. So what, in your opinion, can companies do to better support, retain, and retire women in technology roles?
Support, what was the last part of it?
Retain and retire. So bring them in, support them while they're there, keep them in the industry, and then let them retire from the industry.
Okay.
Big question.
It is a good question. So gonna start at the whole, when you're interviewing and when you're starting to accept a role, I think it's important to check out the culture of a company. It was something that I ask every interview I've ever been in. What's the culture of the company? What's the culture of the team? I also ask, what's the leadership styles? Do you guys have a lot of turnover? Do you have, I ask very direct personally. I think it's important to understand what the culture is because then you'll kind of understand what the supporting structure is. A lot of people might answer vaguely, but you're kind of wanting to look for, we expect, excellence and long-term longevity. We want, to see people grow. What kind of systems are they offering in place for internal growth, whether it being educational reimbursement, and that could be for certs, it can be for anything, but you want those kinds of things being in there. And then you also want to ask some questions depending on your personal preferences. What other kind of personal growth are you looking for? Are you looking to have a family? You might want to check out what their parental leave is. You might want to see if they have, a lot of larger companies at least will have internal programs that support minorities, or just women, or there may be volunteering opportunities that help kind of with mentoring opportunities, and it also helps with networking opportunities that are specific for women. And we have a lot of that, I know, at my company right now, and at other companies that I've been at that were primarily like the demographics of the company was very heavy with women in place. One of the companies I worked with, actually in Kennebunk, was 80% women, which was pretty fantastic. So I think that that's important to consider while going into a job. But while you're there, you want to make sure that you're still networking with not only the women around you, but the men around you as well, and make sure nothing's changing, because from start to finish, retirement's a long way off, and you always want to be in a position where you're looking out for you, not just your the company and your coworkers and everything else. You of course want to look out for you as well. And there should always be growth opportunities. There should always be opportunities for downtime when you need it or you need to step away. Those packages should be available, and they should be consumable for you to understand while they're being presented to you. So those are the types of things that I would take into consideration, as well as hey, if they have bonus structures, that's something to kind of think about, because that can help you with retirement as well, like later on. I hope that answered that question. Help me out here.
No, that was a fantastic answer. It was a
Okay,
huge
good.
question, and you did a great job. So I really appreciate that. We've got about 2 minutes left, and we had a question come in pretty early on that I just absolutely adored from the bottom of my heart. So I would like to round robin this, just kind of rapid fire for our wrap-up question here. So the student writes in that they have been listening to the panel with their 10-year-old daughter. They're working on getting their bachelor's in software development. And do you have any advice for her, the daughter, as a youth with a shared interest in tech at such a young age? I got my first game computer when I was 7, so this is a great question. We'll just take it in order if there's no preference. So Taryn, do you want to start that answer?
Sure. Well, kudos to you, and that's awesome that your daughter is on here. I love that. My biggest thing out of this is, if she has a shared interest, then I would try to play into that as much as possible. There are tech camps out there. There's all different computer camps out there. I would encourage other things, like maybe building a computer together as an activity instead of, an art project or something to that effect. And then they have all these other different types of camps that are online. And then my career advice, I know that you're 10 and that you're not going to be able to have a career tomorrow, but in the industry change, I would say that between project management and our new AI technology that's coming out with machine learning might be a nice area for you to look into and see some interest.
I love that. Great answer. Tamika, do you want to go next?
Sure. Okay. So I've been into tech since I was 3. Tech and electronics, building whatever I could do with them. I would highly, highly recommend her learning Python. Python is one of the key languages. It's easy to learn. Any age could learn it if they're interested. And that would open doors as well as she gets older and learn more, and she'd have that coding knowledge. Same as Terrence said, there's coding camps, and there's what is it called? Where you can build a mini computer. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. But Raspberry Pi. You can get Raspberry Pi. She can learn on that. There's Adreno boards to program those. Like, it's so much a kid can do. And then there's websites that have where they can teach code to kids. And I know Apple has their own program where kids can learn how to code and everything else. So definitely, if she's interested, keep her interested, and she'll be successful.
I love that. Raspberry Pi is the cutest name I've ever heard in my life. Ashley, same question.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old daughter and she loves technology, and I'm trying to get her into robotics, because robotics and automation, again, that's a growing field, and it's beautiful. No matter what she decides to do, as she continues to grow, just keep encouraging her to learn and develop. She'll find her passion and her niche somewhere along the way. So same as I do for my daughter, I'm like, just study hard in science, technology, mathematics, important spaces. And again, echoing what these amazing women have shared as well. Any sort of programming languages, if she can get into that, just awesome. It can never hurt.
I think it's statistically 10, 11, or 12 where girls' interest in STEM tends to drop off. So I think those are great answers so far. Kathleen, if you want to take us home on this question, I'd appreciate that.
You actually just gave me a really awesome segue. So there's STEM. There's a lot of programs that are very specific for young girls. There's programs I would really highly recommend checking them out and seeing if it's something that you'd be interested in. There's Girls Who Code. There's Project Scientist. I think there's one. Carnegie STEM Girls, but there's just all kinds of programs out there. I would definitely check that out. There's actually a lot of companies that host those programs, and some of them are very specific for the young ladies out there who are interested. And for that exact reason, Dana, is they're trying to really make sure us girls are getting into the tech fields. And right around that age where those programs start opening up for those young ladies is when a lot of the times we start seeing their interest fall off. So I highly recommend something like that. They're just wonderful, wonderful programs.
And I just want to piggyback on what Kathleen just said. Verizon, with their opportunities for volunteering, STEM Girls is actually one of the things that I do. It's during twice a year, I believe, that they offer it. And you get paired with different people who are women in tech, basically, and then, learn from there as well. So awesome stuff.
I love
STEM
that.
Girls is a great one.
That's amazing. I would probably not be here with y'all today to do this panel if I was in those programs as a kid. So that's fantastic. Dana, I ran over time. I'm so sorry, but if you want to take us, finish us out for the evening, that'd be great.
Thank you so much, Daisy, and no worries on time. It's just a few minutes, so I hope the panelists are okay with that. I know you probably have some things to do after this too, but really appreciate every single one of you for the inspiring conversation, your career advice, representing women in tech and SNHU alumna across the United States, and especially Lieutenant Munley, probably around the globe that you've been to. So really appreciate all of you, and I hope everyone had a great time this evening. Thank you to the attendees, all the SNHU career staff that may be attending and supporting the event, and just another big virtual round of applause for each of you for being here tonight. So thank you. And of course, if Angie, I think, has shared this in the chat, but as far as connecting with SNHU Career Services for any career guidance, please feel free to reach out to cocecareer@snhu.edu, and our career advisors would be happy to help you out, and make sure to go through the chat, find the networking, all the LinkedIn links that have been shared, and just take the opportunity to grow, and really appreciate all of you. So have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, all.